Hi, welcome to the Legislators Lounge. I'm Jim Webb, the host of the show, and my co-host is Brian Chericello. Today with us we have Senator Scott Brown.
Welcome, Senator. We appreciate you stopping by.
Good to see you both, reps. Good to see you.
Welcome.
How was your session this past year? You guys battling, right?
It was a tough one
Yeah.
because the Dems were in control of the House, but
Yeah, it's tough when you're the minority.
Well, let's try to change that.
absolutely.
Definitely.
So let's start with asking the first question. I know you've been campaigning for a while now, so
Yeah.
what are the people telling you what their number one issue is of what needs to be changed? In this
First of all, the number one issue, without even blinking, it is Obamacare and how that's not only affected people who have their health care plans, but also folks who are going to be affected by the mandates that are coming in. Most, as you know, after the, I'm sure you're hearing this as well with the businesses, after the election, the President, through his executive order, made the business mandate come into effect. They're very, very concerned about that. Then the high cost of energy. Energy is high now. You see it's creeping up prices. Senator Shaheen's been supporting a cap and trade scheme and has voted on it. Supports a energy tax.
Right.
That being said, she was the deciding vote on Obamacare and voted against all the ability for people to protect their plans, their care and coverages and doctors. So those are the top two. And then obviously what's happening with our veterans, how they're really not having veterans count first. It's all about administration. Oh, we can't fire this person, all kind of bureaucratic stuff. And then the dysfunction in Washington, without even blinking. People are very upset by what's going on. They want problem solvers. They don't want someone like Senator Shaheen who's voting, nice person. I've worked with her on armed services, but she's voting with the president and his failed policies 100% of the time, 99% of the time.
Right.
Yeah. That is definitely a huge issue. Is the state of the country, and I think I'm going to ask you one of the top questions right now that's going on right now with Obama. It would be the immigration policy and what he's doing over there right now. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's a failed policy. When you have the President and Senator Shaheen promoting amnesty for people who are here illegally, supporting the DREAM Act, which is, I believe, a form of backdoor amnesty for people who are here illegally, and providing incentives and magnets for people to come here. When the President, through executive order, put some DREAM Act children ahead of people who are trying to do it legally, follow the rules, the law of the land legally, it sent out a message far and wide, hey, come to the United States, get your kids here, and if you can get them in the country, they'll be all set. And that's not appropriate. We need to secure the borders. He went down to Texas. He didn't even visit the border. He should have. So those failed policies are leading to a failed immigration policy. And I am a firm believer of strong immigration, legal immigration. We have laws. We have to follow the laws. And with regard to what's happening right now on the border, you have a situation which is in a crisis. It's tasking our law enforcement. It's putting not only innocent young people in danger who are not here legally, but they're still in danger, but also our law enforcement and others in danger. So we need to make sure we provide the tools and resources for our law enforcement to do their jobs and do them well and safely. We need to make sure compassionately that the kids are safe and secure, and then we need to return them back to their country of origin. We have mechanisms in place right now if they feel they've been persecuted to go through the appropriate channels and seek the appropriate safeguards from our country. But just as Senator Shaheen called either yesterday or the day before to say let them all stay, that's not appropriate, and that's where we disagree.
Right. And what do you think about Obama asking for $3.7 billion from Congress to deal with the immigration issue?
Well, first of all, we wouldn't be in this situation had they, in fact, addressed it when it was appropriate, securing the borders, making sure that we didn't create these incentives for people to come here. That being said, are there funds going to be necessary? Sure, but why are we going to go more in debt? There was just a report out, $105 billion of our dollars, right. your dollars, folks, have been wasted, overpayments, fraud, waste, and abuse. How about fixing a few of the things that are broken right now and taking that money and using it to address this situation? So the devil is in the details. If they're going to use it to allow these young people to stay here for good, I can't support that. If we're looking to process them and get them home safely to their home of origin, I'm listening, but I need to know more.
Excellent.
That's also, the economy can't support to be able to put this kind of money out constantly. I mean, the immigration issue is a major issue that seems to just get worse and worse and worse. And I agree with you on the amnesty issue. You can't just say they can stay here, and then when the children are here, now all of a sudden they'll say, well, my children are there, I want to come. So then they'll say, okay, well, your children are here, so you can come. So it's like a never-ending cycle, and I agree with you 100%.
We have a failed immigration policy, failed energy policy. Our economy's flat. Our foreign policy is disastrous. Our allies don't trust us. Our foes don't fear or respect us. And quite frankly, Senator Shaheen is on the Foreign Relations Committee. She's endorsed and supported a lot of those foreign policy initiatives, and they failed. And we need to hold those responsible accountable.
Right. Now, talk about overseas. You know, we're reading about Israel and Hamas, Syria. I mean, it looks like a hotbed of issues over there. I mean, what are we doing or not doing that you as a senator may be able to?
Well, I'll tell you, I was on armed services. I've been to Israel. I understand the issues. I understand that Israel is our greatest ally in that region, and they're being tested. They're surrounded by countries that want to wipe them off the face of the earth. They have a very positive relationship with Jordan and relationships with other countries, but the entire region is I don't want to say entire, a lot of the region is in turmoil right now. And that's, quite frankly, I think a direct result of the president saying, you know, we're going to draw a red line. If you cross that red line, you're in trouble. Well, guess what? Not only did they cross it, they hopscotched over it, and the president did nothing. So our fears don't respect us, and they don't fear us. That's a result of a whole combination of things. But listen, we're in a $17 trillion national debt. Right. We're running trillion-dollar deficits. We're cutting our military back to World War II levels. We don't have the resources and the tools to do our jobs. We are an international power. We were. I believe we still can be. But we need to get our fiscal and financial house in order. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to be doing by taxing people back to the Stone Age to do it.
Right.
With Hamas basically challenging Israel by saying, no, we're not going to go to the peace talks, we're not going to sit down at the table, and still shooting missiles at Israel. And I seem to get a sense from the press that the press is kind of making it look like Israel's the bad guy, but they're the ones that are being shot at.
As I said, I've been to Israel. I have great respect for the people in Israel. They're a fledgling country with a strong democracy in an area that does that really doesn't want them there. Imagine that. It's like, well, I just can't even imagine it. That being said, they have every right to defend themselves.
Absolutely.
And their families, and they will do anything they can to protect themselves and their families, and I support that. I always have.
Senator, let's talk about a big issue, the VAs, the veterans, the VA hospital escapades that happened over the last month, some of the bureaucracy of people making bonuses, and some of our veterans not getting the care that they deserve. What's your take on that, and how would we change that?
It's certainly a very real problem. I was on the Veterans Committee, put Shinseki on notice through hearings a couple of years ago, told them of the problems. We discovered the problems. As a result of that, I actually went and held field hearing on this issue. Mm-hmm. We put the VA directly in touch with the soldier in our office. Hey, here's your soldier. Here's Brian. He's your guy, Mr. VA person, and have him work it out. So we dealt with it one-on-one. It was that personal. There's clearly a breakdown. There are some angels working, some in Manchester, obviously, Concord, over in Vermont, angels working. But really, we got to put our soldier first. We can't worry about hiring or firing or whether some employee is going to get upset that they were fired. Veteran first. Focus on the problems, eliminate the bureaucracy and the red tape, and that can only be done in a couple of ways. Giving the new administrator, VA head, the ability to do his or her job without any recourse whatsoever. Very important. Is that going to be done by providing a mechanism where we've actually put out a white paper? I encourage everybody to go to scottbrown.com to find out about energy, education, veterans issues. We've offered solutions.
Right.
And it's a problem. It's shameful, and I look forward to being part of the solution on that issue.
Now, would you allow veterans to use any other hospitals if there's a...
Yeah, depending on where they live, and if there's no alternative, certainly, and there's no backlog. If there's a VA facility and there's no backlog and they can walk right in, that's a different story. But if you're far away and there's a tremendous backlog and you're getting the runaround, you should be able to go, and it's really a money transfer between the VA in that hospital. And the VA should be delegating. They should be actually outsourcing some of the care and coverages. They can't do it all because of the onslaught. That being said, there are instances if a veteran is having a heart attack, that veteran can go to a regular hospital,
right,
and the initial intake is all covered. They're covered, but the gray area comes, okay, now that you've actually got the stent or you've done everything, you have to go to the VA now, and they don't want to. So should now we let them continue on with that coverage? There's some very real issues, and like I said, I've been disgusted really by the lack of putting the veteran first, and I think we can do better.
Yeah, especially with the Northeast. We all know that the medical facilities here in the Northeast are like the best in the world.
Best in the world.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Far, but the awful distances they have to go. I mean.
Yeah, to think that veterans are dying like this and they're getting the runaround. And I was just at the VA in Manchester, that's why I was a little late. And speaking, walking through, knew a few folks that I served with and who are now working there or getting treatment there. And some said service is great. Others said, you know what, getting the runaround, I'm gonna go to my own private doctor and figure it out. So we have to work on those individual cases.
And you, of course, yourself are a veteran, from what I read. You just retired.
Well, I just retired, 35 years. I've been working hard. Joined at 19 after the blizzard of '78. Believe it or not, you remember that massive snowstorm.
Oh, yeah.
I did
sophomore in high school for me.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Sophomore in college, freshman in college.
I was working.
Yeah, it was historic. But I joined and I've done my service like everybody else. I've been honored to serve. But we have some challenges with our veterans, giving them the tools and resources to do their jobs, do them well, and then come home safely. So I'm concerned about the cuts back to World War II level, and then make sure whether it's PTSD, sexual assault, dealing with suicides and other types of problems, we need to make sure that they're covered.
Yep.
All right. Well, Senator, I'm going to change pace a little bit here and go with some of the recent stuff we've seen in the news over the last few months, particularly the NSA spying on Americans, spying on other people. I guess some Congress they were spying on as well, and what do you think of that?
Well, what started out as a credible program now appears creepy. The fact that the program was designed to make sure that we can address a situation where we have people who are coming to our country who are not either United States citizens or are citizens who have left their citizenship at the door by saying that they are now with Al Qaeda and they want to kill us. It was to address a situation where we had credible evidence, good information to try to make sure that nothing like 9/11 happens again. That's the intent. But then to have this blanket sweep of all of our emails or phone numbers, phone messages, wherever they're heading with it, it's not appropriate. We need to find a balance, not only to keep our country and its citizens safe, but also make sure that we can provide the freedoms and liberties that people have earned and are guaranteed by our Constitution. And that's the balance, and I look forward to having an opportunity to strike that balance.
Excellent. I'm going to go back to Obamacare. Do we fix it or do we replace it?
Well, remember, Senator Shaheen was here in September of, I think, '09 with the president with his arm around her. You can keep your doctor, you can keep your health care plan. You're going to get a check, by the way, for $2,500. Don't forget that. And it's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, guess what? They were not being honest with us. In fact, she was the deciding vote. She didn't read the bill. And had she read the bill, she would have understood 18 new taxes, a business mandate, all the mandates that you're seeing coming into effect right now, $750 billion of cuts from our seniors. They don't understand that their programs right now in Medicare are being dramatically affected by the cuts to fill Obamacare.
Right.
And then you see the rollouts and the disaster, the fact that we only have one insurer here and there's no competition. Right. And everyone says, Senator Shaheen included, oh, by the way, it's after the election we're going to take care of this. After the next year we got another insurer. Next year, it's always after the election, after the election. Now, I'm tired of the broken promises, and what I'm hearing from people is that we need to repeal it. And I agree with that because we have people like you and others, Democrats and Republicans in the legislature. We have business leaders, hospital leaders who can develop a plan that's good for New Hampshire, incorporate catastrophic care and coverage, pre-existing conditions, covering your kid to X time frame. All the things that we care about, we can do it better, We can do it more efficiently because what you're seeing with Obamacare,
Right.
can you say VA?
Right. Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you think that the federal government can do it better, folks, than the people here in our state, they think the federal government can do it better than the people here in our state, they can't.
Right.
No.
Well, I'm going to ask you what the difference between the health care in Massachusetts
Sure.
and Obamacare. I mean, what's the difference? I mean,
Big difference.
State-run?
It passed 198 to 2.
Right.
How about
So
that
it's
for a
it's
difference?
private versus
Well, how about the fact that it was done bipartisan, bicameral, with everybody at the table, business leaders, hospitals, Senate President, Governor, Speaker, 198 to 2 versus Obamacare rammed it through. We didn't,
Right.
taxes weren't raised in the plan in Massachusetts, and they addressed a lot of the things that were concerning the people of Massachusetts. Now, would that plan work here? Probably not. But
Right.
can we develop a plan that works here? Absolutely.
Right.
See, they want you to know, they want you to think, folks who are so in tight with the Democratic Party and with the machine in Washington, they want you to think that Obamacare is the only answer. It's the law of the land.
Right.
Can't do anything about it. Really? Then why are they changing the VA rules right now?
Right.
Why are they you can change things. You can change laws, okay? They do it every day. And to think that me and you and others don't want people to get health care is just a lie. Because I have a record of providing opportunities for people to get care and coverages. So, yeah, we can repeal it. We can replace it. And it's shameful for folks to think that we can't and push that kind of agenda.
Right.
And you know, I work in the private sector, and I still
Can I
work.
just say one more thing? Because I didn't fully answer that.
Sure.
Didn't raise taxes.
In Massachusetts,
yeah.
you mean?
Yeah.
It didn't raise it.
Had,
Right.
had competition.
Right.
No competition in what we're doing here in New Hampshire, certainly.
Right.
And it was done, as I said, in a bipartisan manner. So I'm sorry, Rob.
Oh, no, this is fine. In New Hampshire, we have a citizen legislator, as you know, and so I work full-time as well as
Yeah.
do the legislator. And my company in particular, it's costed me money already from Obamacare and increased premiums and so forth. So,
You're not telling the truth. You must not be telling the truth, though. Because
Well,
that can't happen.
you know, now I have deductibles that are really high, and now I could still go to my own doctor though, because my plan actually has my doctor. So I am not losing that portion. But one thing I notice a lot of people are upset over is that it's, you know, you lose your doctor, but that's one thing. But now people are getting upset because they're losing their job because of Obamacare. Obamacare, 50 employees or more, the company's not going to hire that 51st employee or the 50th employee.
Yeah, scale down.
Funny you say that. I was at a company today in Portsmouth who is at 49, and they say, we're not going to hire. We're going to wait until
Absolutely.
we figure out what's going on. So let's take a woman, for example, a single mom like my mom who struggled 1, 2, maybe 3 jobs, depending, to keep a roof over our heads. My mom was on welfare for a period of time. You know, we had a tough upbringing. She had the ability to work 40, 50, maybe 60 hours with overtime to actually provide for our family. Well, guess what? When you talk about a war on women and how Washington affects women, how about the fact that that single mom with 2 kids right now, as a result of Obamacare, where they cut down the hours down below 30,
Yeah.
so they wouldn't have to, you know, pay, right, and be part of it. That single mom who could spend that time with her family and her kids and go to the soccer games and basketball games now has 2 jobs
Absolutely.
that she has to do the same thing. So that extra free time is gone, dramatically affecting the kids, the family, the cohesiveness, and her bottom line when it comes to income. That's just one example. I can tell you dozens and dozens and dozens of examples of businesses being concerned because of the business mandate, individuals losing their plans, and it's devastated their families because their autistic son or brother is not in the plan. The medication, the $5,000 a month of medication is not in the plan. Dad has to liquidate his 401k. The child, as a result of that increased income, loses more in their financial aid. The families are devastated. Are there some people who have gotten a good deal? Yeah, that's fine. But we can actually take care of that in our own state.
Yeah.
Right. And I've heard the young people aren't signing up for Obamacare.
Well, the young
so,
people are subsidizing the older
well,
folks.
the theory is it's supposed to work that way, sort of like Social Security. You know, you get the young
yeah.
people paying for us baby boomers, but they're not signing up.
Yeah, it's broken. It's a broken system, and we need to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
we
that's
need
going
to
to be
repeal it and then bring it back to the states.
Yep.
that's a major issue in this campaign. well, regardless of who's running, but that is a major, who wins the
Number one.
election and the primary, but that will be a major issue, and people are pretty upset that, and then the Supreme Court ruling that it was okay because it's a tax.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. You know, we could have a whole show on that. But just imagine this. Here's the situation in our elections here in our state. If we unite our party, if the Republican Party unites along with those good independents and those disenfranchised Democrats, it's Senator Shaheen's worst nightmare. It's your opponent's worst nightmare.
Right.
They know a unified Republican Party with those good independents and Democrats. It's going to be fun, and that's what I'm sensing, and that's what I see, and they know that. That's why they're spending millions against me.
Right.
That's why they're working hard to defeat you guys.
But against, I mean, I noticed in the newspapers that you got Jeb Bush's endorsement.
Yeah, that came out of kind of left field. Jeb Bush,
Yeah.
Mitt Romney, Kelly Ayotte, Chuck Morris, Gene Chandler,
Right.
a lot of other folks, good, hard-working grassroots people, because it's going to take a broad coalition. We are a big, you know, colorful, energetic, opinionated party, and that's what I love about our party. We're a party of opportunity. We're a party of good people on both sides of all the issues, but you know, we get kind of feisty, and at the end of the day, we got to kind of get along, though. I mean, I have a
Yeah,
lot
you
of
get
respect.
nothing done if you don't.
Yeah, they want to divide us, and they know if they do, they win. If they don't,
Right.
then they lose.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
I mean, can you imagine waking up and making Harry Reid the minority leader, then taking all those bills on his desk and putting them on the president's desk? That's what I'm looking forward to. So we can focus on our debt, deficit, taxes, spending, jobs, national security, energy, foreign policy. How about that?
Now, having said that, do you think if you get elected that you could work across party lines to get things done? I mean, we hear in the news that, you know, Congress is not doing anything. It's at a standstill.
Listen, it depends on the issue, of course. I did the insider trading bill, had to work across the line. It passed overwhelmingly. The Hire a Hero Veterans bill for our veterans to be hired and our employers to get a tax credit. The crowdfunding bill, the Arlington Cemetery bill. Kelly Ayotte and I worked on the no contracting with the enemy amendment.
Right.
Yeah, listen, there's a time to work across the aisle,
Right.
and there's a time to draw a line in the sand. And I'm the only person in this race who's been a lifelong Republican, first of all. Secondly, I have the experience, and I think because I read the bills, I understand them, see how they affect our state, our country, our debt, and our deficit, and I vote, period.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question that I hear a lot of people when I told them that I was
Fire
going
away.
to be having a show with Scott Brown.
Ask
They told
away.
me to ask this question. Second Amendment. Now, the Second Amendment in New Hampshire is big, and a lot of people have the perception that you're against the Second Amendment. And I actually did a little research today, and I found that not to be true.
Gosh, don't let the facts get in the way, Jim. I mean, you know, let me just be very clear on this again, because I have been, and people, I think, appreciate the honesty. I'm not going down there to propose any new gun legislation. There's plenty of gun laws. I have, since I was 19 years old, as you know, joined the military, signed on the dotted line to protect and defend our country and the tenets provided and the rights and privileges per the Constitution. I was a concealed carry licensed carrier in Massachusetts. I'm the same here in New Hampshire. My door has always been open, and it will continue to be open. I've had a lifetime A- record with the NRA. Can fire virtually any firearm that I'm given and do it quite well. Enjoy it and respect people who enjoy it as well. Senator Shaheen has an F. And if people are going to stay home as a result, and let's say we agree on 80% in that particular issue, maybe we have a couple of disagreements about a couple of things, she has an F. So let's take that one issue and put it right here. We agree on 100% of the remaining things. Senator Shaheen votes with the president 99% of the time. Harry Reid only votes 90. Bernie Sanders is like 97. So the people in our state have a choice. They want to stay out and show me or prove a point. That's great. The only point they're going to prove is that Harry Reid's going to be down there, Senator Shaheen's going to be the #1 foot soldier for the president, and they're going to chip away at our rights and freedoms, not only in the Second Amendment, but on Obamacare and the mandates, the unelected, unaccountable bureaucrats passing rules and doing things affecting our businesses and individual rights. I'm going to go down there to be that check and balance. She's going to go down there to be the rubber stamp. That's the choice.
Excellent. I want to get into energy real quick. I mean, in the Northeast, we have some of the highest energy costs.
And going higher.
What could we do to change that? Because we want to drive economic development in this state and in the Northeast, you know, and part of that's the energy costs are just, it's tough for businesses to start.
Well, one of the first things we can do, which is an absolute no-brainer, is to approve the Keystone XL pipeline. Senator Shaheen's against it. I'm in favor of it. Good union jobs. Can't believe our union brothers will say, oh, it's okay, I don't agree with her on that, but it's okay. Listen, she's making sure that you can't get those jobs. On the health care, the unions, teachers, firefighters, police officers are paying 40% more as a result of Obamacare, yet they'll still vote potentially. I hope not. Hopefully they'll recognize it.
Maybe not in New Hampshire. I tell you, I'm in the union. I'm a Teamster.
Yeah.
I'm a Republican. So in New Hampshire, it's not necessarily what it appears to be.
That's good. That's good to hear, because I know the leadership is in tight, but individual members, it's good you said that, Jim, because I recognize that they'll look at the individual, but with energy, proving the Keystone Pipeline, getting more energy in the system so we can step back from our dependence of foreign oil. Number one, wind, solar, nuclear, hydro, geothermal, siting, permitting. We have to provide a mechanism to make sure that the citizens have a role and play a role in the decision making, so things can't be rammed through. We need to upgrade our delivery system on natural gas. We don't have the capacity to store or deliver. My fear is that by the end of the summer, we could potentially have a brownout, blackout, and in the winter, because of the proposals by Senator Shaheen on a national energy tax in a cap and trade scheme, rates are going to go up dramatically. Number 1A issue for mostly women, believe it or not, who are dramatically affected by the fact that they're the ones driving, you know, the family, making those healthcare decisions, driving to the doctor, driving to the soccer games, you know, giving their kids the keys to go do their summer jobs. Gas prices are going up. Diesel prices are going up. Delivery of food higher at the checkout counter. I want to stop that. I want to stop that. Well, you know.
Yeah, it's right down the line. That's where it's going. You know, higher prices, smaller boxes. You have to buy more at a higher price. So,
and it's passed off to us.
So the consumer ends up paying in the long run.
Senator, I'm getting a signal that we've got 5 minutes. So I want to. Yeah, I know. It goes by quick. I want to give you an opportunity to.
No.
Do you have a quick question, Jim?
Well, it might be the same one you had. So, but what I wanted to do is give you an opportunity, because we see from day one, before you even entered the race, we've been seeing these commercials on TV, basically from out-of-state groups that are really picking on you, right? And trying to put you down, saying that you're the big oil guy. You know, I've seen all kinds of commercials.
Oh, pretty funny, isn't it? I saw one at the gym today, the big oil one. Let's take that one for a minute. First of all, it's by an out-of-state group. It's by the League of Conservation Voters, who's very tight in supporting Senator Shaheen, obviously. She's in very tight with Tom Steyer, who the ultra-environmentalists, who are against the Keystone Pipeline and the like. That wasn't an oil bill. That was a motorist bill. Because when we took that bill, by the way, Democrats voted against that too. Don't let the facts get in the way once again. There were Democrats who rejected that because Harry Reid tried to bring up a bill to change the policy, tax policy, affecting businesses, our energy producers, our job creators, in the middle of a recession, in the middle of the tourist season, when gas is already over $4 a gallon. They wanted to change the policy. Listen, if we want to have a conversation about taxes and how it affects people, let's put them all in the room. Let's put all those things in the room. Don't just bring something up, try to change the policy, ram it through, no amendments, no committee, no nothing, and then criticize me and others. And they're not criticizing the Democrats who did that. Just people like me who are running. I'm going to protect the motorists. Senator Shaheen is going to increase their not only their gas taxes but their energy rates, because I paid what, $650, $750 to fill the oil tank this winter.
Oh, this winter was brutal.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going up.
Yeah. Plus, we just went. We have a gas tax statewide that just went up. We don't need another one.
Federal taxes, they're pushing it. Another 12, what, 20? Pick a number.
Yeah.
But then you get the people that end up not driving, so they raise it even more because they're not getting the gallons, because it's per gallon. If you use less gallons, you got to raise the tax again.
If people think there's not enough money in the federal government, then they're not paying attention. There was just a report out, $105 billion of our money being wasted. Take that and put it towards the gas, put it toward the Highway Trust Fund. Do the things that we do, that you do, and you do in the legislature.
Right.
With the budget that passed this year, I thought you guys did a good job. The Senate, held firm.
Yep.
We have the ability to do it better. do the streamlining, do the consolidating, do the fraud, waste, and abuse, do the reforming before you ask me and anyone else for more money. Right. Senator Shaheen will vote for every tax increase, you know, that comes about. She just said she's not supporting an internet tax increase. Well, that's great. It's probably one of the first ones.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you were going to ask him, but do you want me to?
We've got to wind it up because
I got one more. Carpetbagger. Might as well touch that one too, because
Jim, listen, I
know the facts.
Let me be honest with you. I hope it's not an issue. I really do, because I know Senator Shaheen. Yeah. And the fact she's from Missouri should have nothing to do with this race.
Absolutely.
Well, I like the line when I first met you at Mary Ann's, and there was probably 10 of us, and you had said, all right, who here were born in New Hampshire? And not one of us raised our hands, including myself.
Yeah. Well, I was actually born at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. My dad was an airman at Pease. My mom was a waitress at Hampton Beach. They met, they fell in love. Yeah. My first breath was at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. My first day of birth was on Islington Street in Portsmouth. My family's roots go back 9 generations to 1623 to Dover. I'm a son of the American Revolution out of Newington. Gail and I have been property owner taxpayers for over 20 years. I owned property in Portsmouth prior to that. Yeah. I'm not quite sure what else to say, except that people can argue about my birthright and where I'm from. I'm going to focus on where we're going. Good. And we're not going in the right direction. Right. If you like the way things are and you're happy, you're not complaining at the dinner table, you're everything's great, 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 then vote for Senator Shaheen, and she'll rubber stamp all the efforts down there. If you're upset, you want to be check and balance to the president and his out-of-control policies, I'd ask for everybody's vote. And you can go to scottbrown.com to help, to donate, to help, to volunteer. We have fun.
Okay, so now I guess we'll close. If you want to say a last few words, I know you just said your website.
I just want to say thank you to you for your service. Anyone who runs an elective service, not only the candidates, but the spouses. And I want to let people know that I have a lot of respect for Jim and Bob and their supporters. And regardless, if I prevail, I'm hopeful they'll be with me, because the united party is Senator Shaheen's worst nightmare. And if I don't prevail, I'm going to support them and do everything I can, because we have to take back our state and take back our country. I'd ask you to go on scottbrown.com. I'd ask you to get informed and get the facts, understand things. Don't believe the sound bites. Don't believe the rhetoric. Find out for yourself. Pick up the phone and call us. That's it. So thank you. God bless.
Thank you very much, Senator.
All right, this has been the Legislators Lounge. I'm Jim Webb, the host of the show. Brian Chericello, the co-host, and Scott Brown was our guest today. You can find us on the internet by going to YouTube and searching Legislators Lounge. You can find us on Facebook by going and searching Legislators Lounge. We have a website called thederrylounge.com. You can enter questions and so forth. If anything you want to find out any more information, we'd be happy to forward it to you. So once again, thank you for watching. Until the next show.